Today we're going to be working with the basic technique for drumming. The basic technique for making 3 sounds on the drum. So the first is the bass sound, and we'll call that note goon, spelt like gun, G-U-N, but goon. And the reason we call it goon is it is a deep bass resonant voice. One of my friends said one time, this is James Earl Jones. So it's kind of like, Luke, come to the dark side. It's that deep, resonant voice. So here we are sitting in front of our drum, and we have our drum tipped forward slightly, like I talked about in the previous lesson. And what you're going to do, first of all, is please bring your hands together, like in namaste position. So your hands are together, like as if you are bowing to someone. And then open up at the thumbs. Now I'm going to put my face in this place right here where you can see I have a triangle. My thumbs are straight across the base, and my fingers are touching each other so they form a triangle. Now, notwithstanding that I have bones and I have things that protrude, and bumps and lumps and so forth. If I had my hands flat against a wall, this is the way they would look. Now, I'm going to float my hands down. I'm going to turn them and float them down on the drum. Now my hands are down on the drum, and if you notice, my thumbs, which I'm wiggling right now, are not on the drum. That's a really important thing because when you play the drum, if you hit your thumbs on the rim of the drum, it hurts. And it doesn't really make you feel like playing so much. So we want to make sure that our thumbs are off the drum. Also, if you can, notice my body posture where I'm sitting up straight. My arms are not coming in toward my body. They're out. They're out. So I'm a little bit of a chicken this way, but at the same time, this gives me a lot of strength and stamina in my upper body. Strength, not stamina. Take out the stamina part. Now, if you notice that my hands are on the drum like this, with this triangle here, I'm going to use my dominant hand. I'm a righty, and I'm just going to move that right hand 1 hand length in toward the center of the drum. I'll show you again. Here it is on the rim, and I move it 1 hand length out toward the middle of the drum. Now, as it's pretty much a straight line going from my elbow to the tips of my fingers. There's no break here. It's pretty straight. So now the thing that I will do is from my elbow, I'll pick up my hand and just drop it down on the drum. I'm just using gravity to let the sound come down. Now, very naturally, there is one place here where your hand is not touching the drum. If it was, you'd be playing like this, which is not what we want to have happen. We want to have a natural hand, and you just pick it up and let it drop, and you have that nice reverberation. The sound goon is like taking a big rock and throwing it into a pool and seeing the ripples go out from there. So this is goon with my right hand, my dominant hand. This is goon with my left hand. Again, I put my hand on the drum just to make sure I know where I want to do it and drop it. And you notice that I don't leave it down on the drum. That would be more sound, and we don't want to muffle our voice. So that's the first note, goon, which is our bass note. Now, we'll go back to our triangle for the notes go and do, which are called the tones. So here are my hands on the drum once again, where I started from my beautiful triangle of beauty, truth, and love. And I'm again using my right hand, my dominant hand. I'm going to lift it up and just let it drop. I use my elbow, and I have a little bit of relaxation in my wrist, just a little bit like a shock absorber, to make the sound come nice and easy. And you can see that, except for that one, pretty much they sound the same. And that's what you want to have. You want to have your notes sound the same each time. Now, another thing that will help you is when you're playing either goon or go, that you allow your voice to mimic the sound you want it to make. So, for example, I would not say goon. I would say goon. That's my deep voice. I'd say go, because that's the way the go sounds on the drum. With my non-dominant hand, I call it do. And it's the same thing. The technique works from the elbow to the wrist, just letting the hand drop. So if I'm playing through this triangle until I get it to sound right. And there you have the two notes, go and do. The next note we're going to learn, we won't use till a little bit later in our practice. We always start with what is going to be easy for the body. But it's the sound pa, which is called also the slap. It is a high, sharp little ricochet off the drum head. And for some reason, pa is the easiest way to hurt your hands, but it's also the lightest stroke to make on the drum. So it's a matter of putting your hands on the drum for go-do again. And this time, instead of leaving the hands flat on the drum like you do for goon and go, you will slightly tip up your hands at about 30-degree angle, I would say. Then the hand, if I'm using my right hand, would pull up, and I would have this angle that I would be coming down like chopping wood. But instead of thinking of my hand as being a solid thing, as I would for goon and go, my hands I have to imagine that I have no bones in my hands. So, no bones in my hands. My hand just bounces off the head of the drum. And actually, I'm using the side of my pinky and the tips of my fingers that are making that sound. So one way that we can practice the pa is to take our other hand, put it on the rim of the drum, then place the hand we want to play with on top of it, in the same position it would be on the drum if my hand wasn't there, the bottom hand wasn't there. And you'll notice that my pinky and my middle finger touch the head of the drum, and sometimes my middle finger, my ring finger and my middle finger touch the drum, but my index finger doesn't. So when I lift up from this position and I drop it down, I'm just hearing those three fingers make a sound. And originally, what I want to do is practice using gravity, and you can maybe even hear it, that there's this thwacking sound, right? This is one part of playing pa. The other part is pulling your hand back. So you go down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. And 3 more times just for good luck. 2 more times for good luck. 1 more time. And please leave your hand down. Now slide out the bottom hand. And you have a small little cup here where your other hand had been. And now pick up your hand from the drum and do the same thing that you did. But now just let it ricochet. And you have the sound pa. And you notice, if this is James Earl Jones, this is my age, Johnny Mathis. This is Pee Wee Herman. It's a real sneaky high sound, a little tricky. So please practice this technique very slowly and in your own time to make these 3 sounds: goon, go, and ha. And happy drumming.